What I'd like to do, like just initially, is read an intro, I guess, or give you a taste of how Mandelbrot thinks and how he views Wall Street and the officialdom of it all, the establishment, if you will, the mainstream. You know, going back into 2008 when I was sitting just adjacent to Yale University in my office. He was in his office, and he wrote this in 2008, in October of 2008. This is part of, it's really in the preface to the book. We urge change. Financial economics as a discipline is where chemistry was in the 16th century. A messy compendium of proven know-how, misty folk wisdom, unexamined assumptions, and grandiose speculation. Isn't that the truth? At the end of the day, that is where we are. It's 2017, and that could still be said quite appropriately about the discipline of economics and how the world really thinks about that. He went on to say that the flow of scientific information is sharply curtailed by self-interest. Does that sound familiar? A bank, think about it, a Wall Street bank, a conflicted, compromised Wall Street bank, not that we believe that those things are true, but it is true. A Wall Street bank in which the research department thinks it has discovered something new and useful will definitely not share that with anyone else. They'll use that to make money for themselves, and being focused on profit, not knowledge, it is unlikely to fund fundamental research. And I think that that's really a big barrier, to the why, or at least a bridge. Let's just say it's a bridge to the why. Why have we not, again, evolved our profession? Why are best practices, which really reside in investment banks and more appropriately, asset managers, hedge funds, mutual funds, pension funds, why has the knowledge bridge not been built to the public? Well, it's because they're making money on it. There's no incentive for people to teach you specifically the better way, but it is indeed happening, and I think that Mandelbrot was very early in that. Don't forget that you said this a while ago. And what he advocates is finding a project or finding a group of people that have an open source code to start to get to that better way. And he concludes by saying, without that knowledge, we are doomed to crashes again and again and again. Perfect. I mean, at the end of the day, that's one of the main reasons why you have to at least consider Mandelbrot. Now, I'm not saying that you have to completely adopt and implement what it is that I do or what it is that my research team does, but at the end of the day, the way that he depicts reality versus the path forward, I think, is right on the screws. So just to jump back in, and this is on page 116, my life's work has been to develop a new mathematical tool to add to a man's small survival kit. I call it fractal and multifractal geometry. It is the study of roughness, of the irregular, and of the jagged. I coined this name in 1975. That, by the way, is when I was born. So, he was right after it for a long time now. Fractal is from fractus, past participle of franger, or to break. Don't forget that Mandelbrot is a French guy. And as I was reminded by one of my son's Latin dictionaries, the same root survives in many common words, including fraction and fragment. I developed these ideas over many decades of intellectual wanderings, pulling together many stray, forgotten, underexplored, and seemingly unrelated artifacts and issues of the mathematical past, extending them in every direction and creating a new, coherent body of mathematics. Fractal geometry has come to be viewed as natural. It is used today for an improbably diverse set of tasks, for compressing digital images, for example, over the internet, measuring metal fractures, analyzing brain waves in an EEG machine, designing ultra-small radio antennas, making better optical cables, etc., and studying the anatomy of lung bronchia. The methods of fractal geometry have become part of a toolkit of fluid dynamics, hydrology, meteorology. Its power comes from its unique ability to express a great deal of complicated, irregular data in a few simple formula. Let me say that again, because this is a really important point. Its power comes from its unique ability to express a great deal of complicated, irregular data in a few simple formula. Now that, my friends, is the core of simplifying the complex. Mandelbrot at one point jumps right into how he was hired by IBM. He was part of the Watson team, the original Watson team, to use the big supercomputer to help him debunk the gyrations of cotton prices. Now, this is ground level, ground zero here in terms of trying to debunk what it is that make cotton prices move. And I think if you go through that chapter in particular and you start to think about all the different things that you think are moving in markets in particular, you're going to come to one very simple conclusion, and that Benoit Mandelbrot was very early and very right in debunking the unknown and telling you that it was, again, the unknown itself, or the volatility of volatility, that was going to make your head spin. And I think that's a humbling thing about markets, and I think that this book in general will humble you. And it will, as I've pointed out many times, I think it'll certainly make you think and rethink what it is that you do when you consider markets and economy.